Find areas to 2 decimal places. ANP, NDCM, PNMB, and then finally find angle PNM, which is this angle here. Okay, so part A, area ANP. Now this one's pretty simple because it's a right angle triangle. So it's just a straightforward half base times height, which is a half. We've got 4 kilometres times 8 is equal to 16 kilometres squared. Now for part B, area NDCM. So we're looking at this area here. And what we can do is we can break it up into a rectangle and a triangle. Now we know the full length is 11 kilometres, 2 kilometres plus 9. And we know there's 8 kilometres here, so this must be 3 kilometres. And we know 9 minus 3, if this is 3 here, this must be 6. This is a right angle triangle and the perpendicular height is 8. So we've got that area is equal to a half base times height of the triangle plus length times breadth of the rectangle, and that equals a half times 6 times 8 plus 3 times 8. And that equals 40 kilometres squared. Okay, let's look at part C. So now we're looking for area PNMP, which is this area. But what we can recognise that it's actually this area minus the area we've already found out, ANP. So let's go ahead and work out area ANMB. If we think carefully about how to break this area up, we can actually have a line, straight line coming through A to M, and that leaves us with a right angle triangle, and we know this perpendicular height here, and we've got the base, so we can work out the area of those two triangles. Okay, so area ANMB is equal to a half times 2 times 8 plus a half times the base of this ANM triangle times the perpendicular height equals 40 kilometres squared. So now we've got that, we can go ahead and find area PNMB, which is this area in here, and that equals the area we just found out, which is 40, minus that original area, ANP, which is 16. So the answer to that is 24 kilometres squared. Okay, now we're going to finally find the angle PNM, but we're just going to call it N. And we're going to use the half BC sine A type rule. So let's just look at this triangle here. Let's call this little n, let's call this little m, and this one little p, because they're opposites of those angles. Now if we can work out m and p, and we know the area of this triangle, then we can use this rule to find n. but it'd be of the form a half MP sine n. Remembering to get this rule right, n is the angle that you're looking for, and these two values are the two adjacent values to the angle, not the opposite value. Now firstly, we can find m pretty easily through Pythagoras' theorem, so I'm not going to go through every working, but it's the square root of 4 squared plus 8 squared equals 8.94 kilometres. And then we can find p, because we know that this is 8 and that this value here is 6, because we worked out that was 3. So p equals the square root of 6 squared plus 8 squared, and that equals 10 kilometres. So now we need to work out the area PNM. Now we know the area PNMB. So area PNMB from our previous example is 24 kilometres squared. Now we just need to work out what this little triangle is and subtract it. Triangle PMB, area equals a half times 2 times 4. They just cancel out. That equals 4 kilometres squared. Therefore, area PNM is equal to 24 minus 4 equals 20 kilometres squared. So now we've got that, we can put it straight into the equation. Half MP sine n is equal to 20. So we know m is 8.94, and we know p is 10 times sine n equals 20. So we can multiply all of that out, and we get 44.7 sine n equals 20. Bring that over to divide. Sine n is equal to 20 divided by 44.7, 0.447. And finally, n equals the sine inverse of 0.447, which equals 26.6 degrees. Now I just want to take you back to before we did the area rule, and I want to go through the same problem, only this time use the cosine rule to find the angle. So we still need to find what m and p are. So the cosine rule is cos n equals m squared plus p squared, which are the two adjacent sides of the triangle, minus the opposite side squared, n squared, divided by 2mp, the adjacent ones. Now, we know m and p, we've worked that out already. This time, instead of using the area of the triangle, we're going to find n, which is quite simple. So we can just use Pythagoras because we know the two sides of the right angle triangle. So n is just equal to the square root of 2 squared plus 4 squared. And that equals 4.47 kilometres. So now we can put that into the cos n rule, equals 8.94 squared plus 10 squared minus 4.47 squared, all on 2 times 8.94 times p, which is 10. So cos n is equal to 159.94 divided by 178.8, which equals 0.89, we'll round that up to 5. And lastly, n equals cos inverse of 0.895, which equals 26.6 degrees.